The daily candle just closed, the weekly candle just closed, and we just saw extreme volatility starting to enter the market. And then you get things like this. It's a rough week, right? It's a rough week. But what's the reality? You're watching the dollar showing signs which we should look really closely. That does show you something, meaning, yeah, you are up in dollar, but if you do look at it, you bounce, and then what happens? You go down. Okay, fine. So you are watching something like this. And if you look at this and consider what Solana in this context has done, yeah, it's down 33%. That's a rough week. But if you do look at what happened last time, it dropped 25%. And if you bought during that retest of the bottom, you would have made a decent 150% ride. Or if it was just before that, the price dropped 45% plus. And if you bought back then, you made close to 300%. So you're watching the market giving you multiple opportunities. Not a lot of people are focusing on those. But remember, when the market shows you something like this, the SI family is well aware of that. 3 hours back, when the price was still up, 44,250 plus, I was like, okay, guys, watch. There's going to be some short-term micro flush coming in. That's most likely, flushing the levered trades. That's a possibility based on the pattern analysis, right? And we were expecting that. Right now, if you look at the price, this is how that looks. So this is an hourly chart, and this is an updated hourly chart, which shows, yeah, that move just came in. And 935 members in the SI family was well aware of this situation. And it's not just that. Yes, you do see some assets like this which are moving up, right? It's up 300% for the year, it's up 40% for the month, and 50% for the week. So what's really happening there, right? We actually did follow up this asset a long time. So if we just look at last couple of months, this is what we were talking about. A breakout, right? There was a lot of signals coming from the market. And the market was showing you that this asset can actually go up. This asset can actually show you strong structure. So I was reiterating this even yesterday, right? Before the recent move started. And now we can see, yeah, that actually came in. So if you do understand these and you want to get these kind of updates on the real time, look at the SI family. You can join in it using this link that's in the description below in YouTube or in the bio on Twitter. So now if you look at the general market, there is some catch in it. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where the normal retail guys get to learn how to become the next top 10% of this world. In yesterday's video, I told you guys there is a possibility like this, which we should not actually neglect, right? I was kind of pointing you towards that possibility where my thought process was well aligned, right? I was showing you there is a possibility that the altcoin can do this, which means Bitcoin should move higher or the dominance should go higher. And that's exactly what we are watching here right now. Bitcoin dominance trying to break through that. Can that be a fake out? Yeah, there is still that possibility. We need to see the candle close. We need to see how things are evolving. There is a lot of things. But if you do look at things on a bit of clear image, this is something, isn't it? There's a weekly chart, not a 1 hour, not a 4 hour. It's a weekly chart. So I would argue, keep an eye focused on here. What are you watching? It's important to know. It's really important to know. Because right now, you're looking at this and it is showing you the fact that the candle which closed, the weekly candle, that actually went above this level. That level is the candle close here. The next open, there was no gap. And next 2 times, we did something weird, right? So you have the support, you have the resistance. We stayed inside that for 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks. And the 4th week, by the time we closed, we entered above that, we closed there. Now, next candle, it's a weekly. We're just starting it here. So what are we really watching? How long can we actually go? Can we burst to the upside? Can we come back down? Now, for me, I would personally look at the first range of support as this particular level. That would be like 43,400, close to that. Price may come down on a short-term narrative and then bounce back up. Now, if you do look at them on the volume side, you can actually see this. Enough volume had to come back in to push the price back to the upside. So on a weekly, you now have bulls still in control. So on a short term, to make this a reversal, we personally would like to see that the price actually come a little bit down. Now, this is going to be the healthiest scenario, right? You drop, you go up, you do this. At least a double bottom structure should be there. And then you start grinding back up. This is something which we really want to see. Say, for example, last time you made a double bottom here, you consolidated there and then went up. So these kind of price moves can be coming into the market. It won't be a surprise for a lot of guys who are prepared, a lot of guys who are doubling down when you have massive opportunity in the altcoin market. Remember, some of these altcoins are getting flushed on the other end, right? Yeah, if you're watching them, you know there is opportunity if you really like to double down on them. So you're watching a lot of opportunities coming in front of you. Right, you want to actually see which of them actually went to a resistance, got rejected, is going towards the next major support. Look for the assets which actually broke higher and then is coming back down to retest something. These will actually lead you towards a better outcome with the next move up. Can it be this week? Can it be next week? No one actually knows. But when you do look at things like this, you'll actually see some of these coins are getting whooped, right? And it makes a lot of sense to look at them one by one. Say Mask. If you look at Mask right now, that's down 30%. If you go into the charts to see like, okay, what the hell is happening in that particular asset? You want to see what the macro is looking like. You want to see what the micro is looking like. It's all a game. Now, understand this factor here. You had a decent breakout, and that breakout was through a major range. So this particular range was a support and a resistance range. This is what you're looking at. It gets extended all the way back down here, where again you start acting as a resistance. And if you go back, pull that level back, you'll see that level was also acting as a support and a resistance. So this is a big zone which you're watching where it is coming back to retest. So you had a gigantic burst. Usually, whenever the market does something like this, what follows? Some profit taking, some people moving out, all those volatility. For sure, that's how the markets actually work. But if you do understand things clearly, you're not looking only on a daily. You're going on a 3-day. You're looking at what's happening on that front. You get an idea of the wave structure. Great. You're going on a weekly to see where things are and why we have this amount of volatility. Then you can go on a monthly to see, do we really have a trend formation? I'm like, look at the volume, guys. It's been just 7 days and you're still massively bullish in this asset. The bullish volume is heavy. Someone at the bottom scooped up an enormous amount of this. That's way higher than the normal trading range. If you understand what I'm saying, that's a huge sign. Now that's why in the SI family, we're following things up so that you know it's about something big. What's it? Now, if you're breaking out, you have your targets, all of those for sure. I agree. But right now, the market is showing you something. Market is leading you towards something. I mean, this should be normal. This should be easily understandable. But you get the point. When you see this volatility, don't just panic. Look for what really is happening in that asset. Now, if you take that perspective all the way up, and the primary question is XRP, what are we looking at, right? What are we looking at? Because as of now, if we look at the monthly volume, it's negative. And the price is already down. So you have to go on a weekly to see what are we doing. So the last week candle ended up here. Now, did it actually break through that trend line? Did it actually create a panic selling? No, we had the thought process of we should come back down. We should close just about this, which is going to be completely fine. Now what we want to see is there was a lot of volume on the selling side to push the price down. Can a little bit of buying volume push the price back up? If so, that means sellers are backing out. That gives you a lot of energy to say, okay, this is kind of a reversal point. This is looking good. Now you have to see whether we have some divergence, whether we are looking at things differently. And I'm like, okay, that sounds cool. Meaning the price is going up, you're making a higher low there. And if you put the RSI in place, it's trying to make a double bottom there. Let's try to be accurate as possible. Barely, but still, it is looking like a double bottom. So you kind of get the idea here, which is really close to our hidden bullish divergence here. Your local bottom is at 0.4785. The next one is 0.5. So that still is a higher one, and you kind of get the candle close here. The confirmation came here. These actually guide you a lot. Now, you go on a daily chart to see, okay, what can we expect on a micro level, the short-term move in XRP, right? So we're watching this. The price, it's dropping. It's still inside a pattern where there's a lot of volume, where there is a lot of sellers entering here, flushing that to the downside. So if the price does not go back down to test this level again, that shows you buyers are not waiting for this to come back down to 0.5. They're buying right here, right now, and they want to push back the price. That gives you a lot of room of understanding that okay, someone really want to buy this asset. Whether you believe this is a manipulation or not, the price is reflecting that. Someone is buying right here in front of us. Remember, this is just the daily open here. Like you're just watching how things are evolving. And it's been just like in a couple of hours and you're already going through this. Trying to make an engulfing candle on a bullish note on a daily. Again, this is not an hourly chart. We can look at the photo or we can look at the hourly to see what exactly is happening. But we do get things like this clear. One, on a 4 hour, if you're a micro trader, you understand this. Price is going down, but the RSI is not. RSI is starting to show you something which you should look at. So you zoom in on the RSI, and the RSI gives you a signal. What is that? Right? It is important to understand when the market gives you some sort of signals. This is where ROI, return on your investment, exists. Not in the panic, not in the greed. When the price kind of drops, that brings you a lot of opportunity. Now, on the negative side of things, if you're someone focusing on, okay, what's the positive, what's the negative, this is what you're looking at right now. That resistance is not broken. You're coming back down, getting rejected. So your primary support is somewhat like 42,000. The next level is close to 42,800. That's quite some drop from the current price. Now, on a short-term note, not on a long-term horizon, you're obviously on a 4-hour chart. So this kind of opens up the scenario for you saying, okay, if the price actually drops here, that will actually lead us towards some panic event in altcoins. A lot of liquidations of 5, 10, 15x trades will come soon. Now, if we actually get a divergence here, meaning the Bitcoin to Bitcoin dominance divergence, that is going to be positive for the altcoin market. We would like to really see those kind of events happening in the market. But it's going to be a big deal to look through them and ask like, okay, are we really going to see that the price is coming back down to this range? On a daily, the candle closes here. On a weekly, we know that the support, the macro, the higher time frame support is close to 41,380. And the next level comes somewhat close to 42,400. So as of now, what we are looking at is the primary support level, which is where we are right now. And the next move is close to 43,400. So you kind of get the idea where the market is going and what you can really look forward to. This is just going to be a noise in the market. You're still inside this territory. Nothing has changed. And if you are looking at this on a daily, you already understand the fact that the price action was showing you something like this. If you plot it correctly, say if you have a doubt, you go on a line chart, you make sure you don't miss a lot of information there, and you try to connect these stops. And you're like, okay, this is what we are looking at. This is the pattern which is easily plottable. Great. Now we're coming back into that. So your support can be 42,800. That's still healthy. The market is showing you it's positive. This is what you should be looking at in the market, at least on a daily, on a weekly, on a macro. Because when you go back in history and you see these sort of things coming in, while you are inside this, it feels like a big drop in the market. But when you actually take a step back and look at what these things are showing you, that's a signal. If you do understand them clearly, I would argue like, okay, that is something you should consider. There is something you should consider. What they are showing you in terms of the macro structure, the micro moves, all of them kind of gives you a clear idea that don't panic. If you do panic and take decisions, it can end up worsely. That's why I want you guys to have these ideas and updates on the right time for the right asset as they are developing all these price structure. So if you'd like to join the SI family to benefit from these, you can look at the Patreon here. And if you haven't smashed that like button yet, I would request, please do smash that like button. It supports the channel a lot. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.